Alright, part 3 of episode 2 Escape From for Legendary on Hard. Uh, so this area, the enemies don't spawn in this tunnel until you get probably about up to the staircase, I guess, or just slightly past the staircase. There is a switch that activates the electricity in the wires, and I was trying to run to it to flip it, but as I ran up here, that guy spawned right in front of me and he scared the shit out of me because I nearly died. And like, I'm kind of in a bad shape right now because I only have half health and I don't have any animus to absorb, so I have to be very precise in my movement right now. But the switch that's over there, on like an easier sun, you can just run up to that switch, activate it, and the electricity is supposed to kill the soldiers. There's an achievement attached to it, but going through on hard, I wouldn't suggest running up to it like I attempted to do. I would just move up to trigger the spawn and then try and avoid taking as much damage as I took. I did not do that as well as I should have, and it nearly cost me. Now, if you have Molotovs, and I attempted to do it, and I kind of did a shitty job, but you can usually get a Molotov in that doorway before that first guy comes out, and it should kill, if not all of them, it should at least get at least 2 of them. But I kind of did a shitty job of it, so I think I only ended up getting like 1 of the guys. But luckily they don't come running to where you are now. They kind of hide towards the back, so you can very easily use the cover that's in front of you to deal with them, so it's not too much of a hassle. Now when you come up here, you get this little kind of mini... Oh no, not quite yet. When you get to a certain point when you meet up with Vivian, she skillfully shoots a werewolf's head off with her pistol, and if you're in need of health like I am, the game very generously gives you a good amount of animus to absorb. And I'll show you also where there's 2 additional animus clouds that you can pick up. So after this train crashes, when you come down here, you do get a fire drake that spawns in, but if you run very quickly to that doorway, it'll close behind you, so you don't have to deal with it. If you want to stay and fight it for the animus that drops, you can go ahead, but I didn't want to risk dying and going back to the last checkpoint, and so they come up here and she skillfully decapitates that werewolf and gives you some animus. But in this area, I believe there's only 2 of these animus clouds to absorb. There may be a 3rd one, but I can't off the top of my head remember if it's only 2 or if there's like a 3rd one. But if you come over to this train car, this is the other one, and that one is basically my backup to heal myself if I take any damage, since the first one gave me full health. when you come to this room, there's a very, very long dialogue sequence between Vivian and LaFay. And I just didn't feel like having you sit through and watch all that, so I cut out the whole conversation. So as soon as this door blows off, this entire battle, I pretty much stay inside this room for about 90% of it. The main reason is that where I just was shooting that guy, until the Council of 98 troops come in, these enemies will always run right towards that location. There may be one or two that will aggressively try and run into the room to deal with you. I don't believe I had it on this run, but I believe on my normal run I actually had a guy at the very start when that door got blown off. He actually almost came through the doorway shooting at me. I barely managed to survive it at that point, so I got very lucky that he didn't come at me this time. But as soon as the Council of 98 guys come in, you can be a little more aggressive in your coming out of this room to deal with some of the Black Order soldiers. Where I just threw that Molotov, that's usually where most of the soldiers kind of like group up in. And with a very well placed Molotov, you can usually get like 3 or 4 guys in that doorway. I kind of end up fucking up this throw, but if I had gotten it the first time, I would have gotten at least like 3 more guys with that Molotov. But I had a very bad fail there, and luckily they were dealing with the Council of 98 guys, so I managed to avoid taking really any damage during that. And I didn't really mention it, but this is the point when you can kind of notice that the hit detection can be kind of wonky at times, where sometimes you can take a guy down in like a couple shots, and then other times it's like none of your bullets are hitting him, and it just takes like a million to finally put him down. That was a good Molotov throw. That got like 2 or 3 if I remember right. But basically this battle ends when the cutscene kicks in, and it actually kicks in right as I'm shooting a guy in the head. So this video is going to end on that freeze frame, and I'll see you in episode 3.